Hi everyone, and welcome to our YouTube Live today. I'm Carly, one of the designers at Cricut, and today I'm going to show you how to put iron-on onto a piece of wood. So I know you're thinking, can I really do that? And yes, you can. We're going to be using our Cricut Easy Press today to show you how to make this beautiful sign. So everyone loves a customized home decor project, and that's what we're going to do today. So for today, we're going to be making this sign. We're going to discuss the difference between iron-on, vinyl, and HTV. And then I'm going to show you how to do this and give you some tips and tricks along the way. And then I'm going to go over a couple of the projects in front of me and show you all of the surfaces that I've experimented with iron-on and had great success with. And if you stay with me until the very end, I'm going to take your questions. So if you think of a question, keep it until the end, and then I will answer them. So just leave a comment in the comment box, and I'll get to those. Alrighty. Okay, we're going to get started. So for those of you who aren't sure about what HTV is, it stands for heat transfer vinyl. And here at Cricut, we call it iron-on. So if you're confused already, HTV and iron-on, it's the same. It's just what we call iron-on, and we don't call it HTV, so you don't get it mixed up with regular vinyl. All right, so vinyl, or iron-on is the same thing as heat transfer vinyl, and then vinyl is what you use to apply to other surfaces without heat. So I'll go over some of the different techniques and applications later, but now that you know the difference, let's get into making. All right, so I'm making a sign. Here is our iron-on cut out already. So we used the maker to cut this out and already have weeded it. My friend is getting married this summer, so who wouldn't love a personalized wedding gift with her new last name and her wedding date on it? So it's all ready to go. We're gonna turn our Easy Press on. If you don't know your settings, you can always head over to cricut.com/ep-settings to get the most up-to-date settings. We're gonna set our Easy Press to 300 degrees according to the settings, and then we're actually going to set the time to 40 seconds. So that way we have enough time to get everything all heated up and ready on our wood. All right, so I'm gonna place this right in the middle. I'm just gonna eyeball it. Typically, I'm super OCD and would measure this out. So we do have a ruler. If you want a ruler, you can rule it all out, line it up, and then make sure it's perfectly straight. Also, this piece of wood, it's actually probably an MDF or laminate, but wood works just the same. And I just wanted to shout out that you can find these boards. This one was in the clearance section at IKEA. They're actually pieces of shelving. So if I flip it over, it's just a shelving piece from IKEA. I think it was like $1.80. So if you're looking for a piece of wood that's already finished, you don't want to get the tools out, you don't want to sand it down, you can head over to IKEA or check the as-is section in stores, and you can usually find a great surface for your projects. That's where I usually get my decor, so that I just have to pay for my Cricut materials, and then I have a great setup. So while the Easy Press is still heating up, we're at 185 degrees, so just a little bit more. I'm going to show you some of the projects that I've worked on using iron-on different surfaces. So you may be familiar with using iron-on canvas, but did you know you could put it on shoes? So here we did a really fun Valentine shoe. I used a stencil, so I used vinyl to cut a stencil, and then I used acrylic paint to paint all these. And a fun thing about acrylic paint is that it sets when you use heat. So you can apply heat to the acrylic and it will set. And what I did is I actually used my maker to cut out all these little iron-on phrases and sentiments. So cutie pie, crazy for you, kiss me, call me, and then I used an iron to place these. You could use your Easy Press. I found the iron to be really great for this, just to have a little bit more control. We also have, so once you already have your shoes for Valentine's Day, you can come over and have St. Patty's shoes as well. These are super fun. Megan, one of our designers, made these. And same technique where you use the iron and iron those guys on. So that's just a little sneak preview of what I'm going to show you. Now that our Easy Press is all heated up, I'm going to take this press cloth And you just need a single layer to cover your surface, especially on painted surfaces. Just to protect that paint, we're gonna cover it up with a press cloth. And then I'm gonna take my Easy Press and I'm going to press it in 3 sections. And you can just apply a little bit of pressure, lean into it a bit, and just let it set for 40 seconds. It looks like I'm gonna need to do 3 sections to make sure I cover the entire sign. And really, we're just letting the Easy Press do the work for us. So I'm just sitting, chatting, having a conversation as this does all the work for me, and I'll just move along. So have you ever thought to add iron-on to wood? I know that it's not intuitively something that you would think about, but I found that it holds up so well. I've made so many home decor signs using wood, and with vinyl, it's great if you want to remove it and make another sign, but with the iron-on, it's going to be permanent. So you can hang this sign outside. It's going to have a great life. It's not going to peel off. It may get weathered if you put it outside, but it'll hold up really super well. Another little tip, so this wood is an insulator. So when we put the Easy Press on it, it does suck a lot of the heat out of the Easy Press. You can see that it dropped to 285. So you may have to go over it a couple times. So we'll check it when we pull that protective sheet off. And I'll show you some tips if it didn't stick all the way down, since it is pulling so much heat out of our Easy Press. All right, so one more section. We're just gonna move this down. And you can also put your Easy Press back in the base so that it can heat back up to 300. I'm very impatient. I'm an impatient crafter. So I just keep on moving and grooving. And then if I need to go over it again, not a problem at all. I'll show you how to handle that as well. These projects kind of take a little bit of getting used to. With wood, it's very different than ironing into fabric, because when you're ironing into or using your Easy Press on fabric, the adhesive seeps into those fibers and really bonds. And with this, you need a lot of heat to make sure that adhesive is sticking to the surface of your wood. All right, so we're just about done. And then what I'm going to do now is check it, and we'll see. You want to peel it. It's not one of those peel and quickly reveal. You'll want to let it cool down, and it's really hot to the touch because, like I mentioned, it is an insulator. So we're going to let that cool down for just a second, and then I'll peel it when it's a little bit cooler. And so we're going to show you some projects while this cools off. Alrighty. So over here, this is a sign that I made. It hangs in my craft room to remind me that you never know who you're inspiring, and it's on a canvas. And what's really cool about this is it may look like you can't iron onto it because there's a big gap. So if you put your Easy Press on, it might feel like it's gonna, go through or something like that. I actually cut a piece of board, or you can use some books, and you can place that underneath it. So like if I were using this board, for example, and prop that surface up. So then my Easy Press has something to go into when I'm setting it. And another little pro tip is I hang all of my signs in my house using command tape. So these are the Velcro ones where they lock into each other. And I just pulled this off my wall, and when I get home this afternoon, I can just click it back into place. And it holds up the projects great. And you can do the exact same thing with these wood projects as well. So you don't have to get hanging hardware. You can just stick a couple of command stickers on the back and lock them into place. It's great and no damage on your walls. Alrighty, so let's see if this has cooled off. So you can see that it needs to go over a little bit more. So I'm going to check this side. And so we're going to heat it up a little bit longer. And again, I kind of eyeball it. I experiment a lot. So I'm going to take the heat up just a tad. And we're going to go over it again. So it's at 295. I'm going to let that heat up. Let's see what else I can show you. Okay, this is one I was really scared to do when I first started crafting. And using iron-on onto a book or something that is plastic material type feeling, you can do that too. So just make sure when you're doing these types of projects, it's not going to be the same on every surface. So you have to have a little bit of patience, and you want to try it out. So I'm going to let this heat back up. Oh, I think it's almost ready. And don't leave these items unattended. We don't want it to be a fire hazard. So make sure that you're watching your items when you're using this type of heat. So I'm going to heat this back up. We're going to go over it again. And you can see no sweat, I'm not worried about this because when I do these projects, again, it's a little bit of patient trial and error, but what you get is beautiful. And especially when you're giving it as a gift, how special is that to have a customized sign that they can hang in their house and cherish that special date on their wedding anniversary. My husband loves it. We have one in our house, and he always tells me that it reminds him of when our anniversary is. So also good for the husbands. Alrighty, so we're going to keep on moving down. I also have some other projects. I'm going to focus on this, and then I'm going to bring out some other projects. Have you guys tried any surfaces that are not common? Leave in the comments some of the things that you've tried. I'd love to hear it because I'm always learning, and especially at Cricut, when you guys try something and you want us to test it out and get those settings for you, we will take out all the guesswork. We're working on some incredible projects right now, and it's so funny because we've remade them about 10 times because we want them to be absolutely perfect when they go into design space so that when you make them, you don't have to go through all that guesswork. So we love when you tell us new ideas because we'll perfect them, get them in design space, and then when you go to make them, you won't have all the trial and error issues that we have. All right, so let's see. Let's see if that went down. Oh, okay, so that's going down. We'll come down here, iron this on. And another thing that I like to do, because again, I'm a little OCD and want to make sure that my material is going to stay, especially when you're giving it as a gift, you don't want it to wear down. I like to peel off the protective sheet and then go over it one more time. So it might add a couple minutes to my project, but it'll add a lot of longevity to your project as well. So that's something that we'll probably end up doing on this one just because we want to make sure it really adheres to that surface. Alrighty, 2 seconds. Okay, so let's burnish this in, make sure it's all on there, cooling it off while I'm doing that. And then when you're pulling these off, again, make sure you go slowly. So you can see that my tea is still needs a little bit more heat, but you can see if I pull this up, it's sticking. So I'm gonna slowly peel this off, and I'm gonna give that a little bit of love to make sure it stays down. We might need more heat down there because, you know, I may have missed it. Okay, so I got a little wonky there, so let's pull this out. Okay, so we're gonna peel this off, and if I was being patient, I would have let this set a little bit longer because it's a little toasty on my fingers. I always say that I don't have any fingertips anymore because I burned them off. That's very true right now. Alrighty, so I have it all the way off, and I'm going to go over it one more time just to show you that you can. You don't have to do it for the full amount of time, but to really set that glue, let's do 20 seconds on each part of this. And it'll really set it in there, and when it's cool, it will not come off. So make sure that you like this project because the only way to get this off is probably scraping it off and sanding it off, which is great because I want this to last forever in my friend's home. So we're going to come down here. Peek under there, it looks great, and we're going to keep on sliding down. Okay, have you guys come up with any questions? Do you have questions about what we've done so far? Make sure you're writing those questions down. And the questions that we don't get to, we'll make sure to answer them after as well. So if you have a question and you are dying to know and we don't get to it, we'll make sure that somebody answers that for you as well. All right, 10 more seconds. Okay, so after this, we're going to talk about the surfaces that you can use iron-on with, as well as what you can use vinyl on. Okay, so turn this off, put it back in its safety base, and then look what we have. It's so beautiful. So again, just making sure that you are patient. You can see where I was a little bit impatient with the line, but it gives it a little bit of quirky character, shows a little bit of my personality on that as well. So just in a couple of minutes, we put this on a board, and like I said, it's not going anywhere. It'll be on there forever, and it's super cute. Think about how cute it would be with a bow wrapped around it for my friend's wedding gift. All right, so I still have some other things to show you. So I mentioned, I have a couple of reminders. Here we go. Iron and heat transfer vinyl are the same thing. So when you hear people saying HTV, if you're buying it from Cricut, it's iron-on. Today I used iron-on light. It works great on all the surfaces that I showed you, including, I didn't mention this one, paper. It works great on paper. There's a hair in my face and I can't find it, sorry. It works great on paper, and I love using it on textured surfaces because when you iron it on, it picks up the texture of the cardstock. So I made this for my husband in our first anniversary, and he saved it because he loved it so much. Isn't that so sweet? Okay, so what can you iron onto? Here's just a short list of the things that you can iron onto. We have clothing, bags, paper, one of my favorites, wood, another one of my favorites, ceramics, you can iron onto mugs. Did you know that? Accessories, and other fun fabrics. So really the possibilities are endless. And then you can adhere vinyl to walls, also wood, ceramics as well, accessories. You probably wouldn't want to add heat to your laptop, so let's stick with vinyl there. Paper, furniture, glass, and other surfaces. I would even say that you can iron onto furniture and glass if you're careful and are okay with it being on there forever. Okay, I have some just other fun projects that are here as well, just showing more practical ways to use iron-on fun little bags. Adding monograms is always one of my favorites, or making personalized gifts. So many different options to use iron-on, and one roll can go a long way. So one difference that I really wanted to key in on is that with iron-on, you do not need transfer tape. So what's really, really cool is when you buy this roll, it's everything you need to do this project minus the wood. So if you peel away, you can use a weeder or a hook. Let's see if I can do this on pressure on the spot. If I can grab this up. Usually I can, but we'll see if I can do it under pressure. So if you can grab a corner off, you can kind of see it coming off. This is your protective sheet. So this has been cut on the maker, and as I pull it away, typically I would use my bright pad and a weeding tool, a Cricut weeder, but you can see that this is already the protective sheet. With vinyl, you would buy transfer tape. And transfer tape is what you will use to carry it over to whatever surface you're putting it on. Alrighty, I think that's the end of my demo. So let's see what we have for questions. Any questions? Nothing so far. Obviously, I just did such a great job going over everything. You guys are all probably just stunned and want to get crafting because we are so excited about all the different things. So, takeaways. Iron and HTV are the same thing. Iron-on, number 2. Iron-on has a protective sheet like I showed you right here. And we use transfer tape to transfer the vinyl, not heat. Okay, so that's the end of, just kidding. We have one question, so let's get those questions answered.
Someone wants to know what font you used.
Okay, great. So this one, I actually hand lettered for my friend, which is another reason I love Cricut. So I took my iPad and I drew out what I wanted to do, and then I brought it into Design Space and traced it, and then used that to cut my file. So that's amazing. My craft room is one of my favorite signs in my room. The designer for this is Amanda R. Neal. She sells SVGs, and so you can purchase her art and then bring those into Cricut as well and cut. So those are just some fun little things. Alrighty, I think that does it. Any other questions? Oh, okay.
Yeah, why would I iron on a wood surface when I can just apply vinyl? What are the pros and cons?
Okay, why would I iron onto wood when I could just use vinyl? That is such a great question. So like I mentioned before, you can absolutely use vinyl on wood, but iron-on is permanent. So once I put it on here, I cannot scrape it off, I cannot pull it off. With vinyl, typically, we do have a permanent kind, but our vinyl is removable, so we can pull that off and repurpose it. This provides a more permanent solution. So if you're gifting it and you really want it to last, iron-on is the way to go. I also personally find iron-on to be a lot easier to use because you're not having to transfer it with that transfer sheet. You already have the protective lining attached to it. Alrighty, well, that is it. Have a wonderful Friday. Thanks for tuning in live with me, and we'll see you next time.